Oh, yes, they call him the street.
The 1970s turned novelty into chart gold, when costumes, cartoons, and made-for-TV groups often sold as fast as serious rock stars. That strange mix of innocence and showmanship gave us 12 silly bands 1970s kids cannot forget. Subscribe for more stories behind the records that made childhood feel louder, stranger, and unforgettable.
And when we meet, it's a good sensation. Listen.
Number 12. The Village People. Six men, six costumes, one impossibly catchy song that turned a YMCA gymnasium into the most famous building in pop history. Producer Jacques Morali and partner Henri Bellolo built the Village People around instantly recognizable character archetypes, centered on lead vocalist Victor Willis, who was 27 years old when YMCA exploded into the cultural conversation. Released in November 1978, YMCA reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 and eventually sold more than 10 million copies worldwide. In the Navy, followed in March 1979, and even triggered a short-lived United States Navy recruitment campaign before officials distanced themselves from the association. That blend of costumes, camp, and precision dance pop helped shape later image-first acts and turned the Village People into a cultural institution rather than just a band. The group still tours today, and one chorus of YMCA still turns every wedding and ball game into instant 1978. Number 11. The Wombles. In 1974, Britain developed an unexpected obsession with fictional, pointy-nosed creatures who lived beneath Wimbledon Common and collected litter. Producer Mike Batt transformed Elizabeth Beresford's Wombles into a recording act for CBS, writing witty pop songs that adults secretly enjoyed as much as their kids. The furry costumes made them look absurd, but the records were cut with real craft, genuine glam polish, and strong London session musicianship. Between January 1974 and September 1975, the Wombles landed 8 United Kingdom top 40 hits, including The Wombling Song at number 4 and Remember You're a Womble at number 3. Batt said he always wanted to make records that worked for grown-ups and children simultaneously, and he got exactly that. The act demonstrated that novelty did not have to mean careless, a lesson later applied by the Muppets and other character-based pop projects. In number 10, Sha Na Na. Before the television fame, they were college kids reviving doo-wop at exactly the wrong moment, which made them impossible to ignore. Sha Na Na formed at Columbia University and played Woodstock on August 17, 1969. Their greaser hair, gold lame, and mock tough guy choreography looked surreal beside the era's earnest singer-songwriters, yet audiences immediately understood both the joke and the deep affection behind it. National syndication turned that joke into a franchise when the Sha Na Na show began in September 1977 and ran into 1981. Their appearance as Johnny Casino and the Gamblers in Greece, released in June 1978, made the group household names for younger kids who hadn't been alive for the music they were celebrating. John Bauman, the magnetic Bowser of the group, was 30 at the time of the film's release, precise enough to know exactly how broad the comedy needed to be, and skilled enough to deliver it every single night. Number 9. M1 Man.
You know what to say. Talk about pop music. Talk about
One synthesizer, one song with absolutely nothing serious to say, delivered with complete deadpan conviction. Robin Scott recorded Pop Music in 1979 under the name M, a track built almost entirely on a hypnotic groove and the endlessly catchy instruction to talk about pop music. Scott was 32 years old when he crafted the record, releasing it through Sire Records in the United States and MCA Records in the United Kingdom. Pop Music entered the Billboard Hot 100 in July 1979 and reached number 1 on November 3, 1979. Its jittery synthetic sound pointed ahead to the Human League, Men Without Hats, and early Duran Duran. Scott said the record was about the whole pop scene, which explained why it felt like both a parody and a celebration simultaneously. M never repeated the trick, but few songs captured the silly, self-aware side of late 1970s pop with more intelligence or a stronger hook. Before we continue, which of these wonderfully odd acts felt completely normal when you were a kid? Maybe it was M on the radio. Maybe it was furry wombles on television. Leave a comment and tell us what city or country first sent these songs your way. Number 8. Paper Lace.
Really, don't be a hero, don't be a fool with your life.
A Nottingham band built its reputation on songs that sounded urgent, cinematic, and just a little ridiculous. Paper Lace broke nationally in early 1974, cutting a series of dramatic story songs written by the hit-making team of Mitch Murray and Peter Callender. Billy Don't Be a Hero gave them a United Kingdom #1 in March 1974, and suddenly a group of clean-cut 20-somethings were delivering pop melodrama like a weekly radio serial. The real monument to their endearing silliness was The Night Chicago Died, released in the United States by Mercury Records. It hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on August 17, 1974. Despite lyrics that placed Chicago's East Side at the center of a gangster battle bearing no relationship to actual history, listeners loved the drama precisely because the facts were irrelevant. Paper Lace still perform in revised lineups today, and that song remains a joyful geography lesson gone beautifully, hilariously wrong.
Yes, indeed, the night Chicago died.
Number 7. First Class.
Remember dancing at the high school hop, oh, yes, I'm with the soul.
Some of the silliest 1970s hits were not even bands in the usual sense. First Class was essentially a studio creation assembled by songwriter John Carter and singer Tony Burrows, backed by London session players who understood exactly how to bottle pop nostalgia and sell it. Burrows was 32 when Beach Baby arrived in July 1974, sounding like an American surf summer recreated in a British recording studio with uncanny commercial instincts. The single climbed to #4 on the Billboard Hot 100, eventually selling more than 1 million copies worldwide. Carter stacked harmonies, hand claps, and radio static with such precision that listeners felt they had discovered a lost summer classic from a decade earlier. Beach Baby helped keep bubblegum craftsmanship alive during the years between the Archies era and the later retro pop of the Rubettes. First Class disappeared quickly, but this record never really did. Number 6. Ray Stevens.
The squirrel went berserk in the first upright church in its
By the spring of 1974, a novelty single about streaking turned a seasoned Nashville musician into a pop culture hurricane. Ray Stevens, already 35 and a respected producer and arranger, released The Streak in February 1974 on Barnaby Records. He framed the song as a fake news bulletin, complete with panic, eyewitness chatter, and a dead-serious delivery that made the joke land even harder on repeated listens. The Streak reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on May 18, 1974, and stayed there for 3 weeks, while also topping charts in the United Kingdom and Canada. The talk radio format and embedded sound effects opened a lane later explored by Weird Al Yankovic and other comedy-minded hitmakers. Stevens entered the Country Music Hall of Fame in 2019, proving that even the silliest records can represent the work of a genuinely serious musical craftsman.
oh yes, they call him the street.
Number 5. C.W. McCall.
Then guns went boom and his ass went zoom and the Mac took a terminal blow.
An advertising character became a chart titan when the CB radio craze hit American highways. C.W. McCall was the alter ego of Bill Fries, an Omaha advertising executive who was 47 years old when Convoy turned truck stop slang into mainstream pop language. Backed by producer Chip Davis, later of Mannheim Steamroller, Fries delivered the song in a weathered, half-spoken style that sounded like a live dispatch from the interstate itself. Released in November 1975, Convoy reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on January 10, 1976, simultaneously topping the country chart. The record sold more than 2 million copies and inspired the 1978 Sam Peckinpah film of the same name. For 1970s kids, the song made CB lingo, truck horns, and roadway mythology sound simultaneously hilarious and heroic. It remains the peak example of a novelty concept unexpectedly seizing the entire country by the collar. The 1970s really were the last decade when cartoons, truckers, and TV families could all storm the charts together. Which one still makes you smile fastest today? Drop a comment below and let us know if you ever had a CB radio handle of your own.
And the entire town was crispy critters, and the mayor was a space cadet.
Number 4. The Partridge Family.
I think I love you. I think I love you.
The Partridge Family television had rarely manufactured a pop phenomenon this efficiently. The Partridge Family debuted on ABC on September 25, 1970, presenting a fictional musical family riding a psychedelic bus, while David Cassidy, only 20 years old, became the face that launched 1,000 bedroom posters. Behind the scenes, top Los Angeles session players and producer Wes Farrell ensured the record sounded polished enough to compete with real bands. I Think I Love You hit #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on November 21, 1970, and sold more than 4 million copies in the United States alone. Cassidy later said candidly that he often felt like a commodity rather than a person, a revealing admission about what sudden manufactured fame actually costs. None of that stopped kids from loving the fantasy. The Partridge Family helped pave the way for later screen-driven music marketing and captured 1970s innocence more completely than almost any act of the era.
Would lead, and what tomorrow was bringing.
Number 3. The DeFranco Family.
Lovely, and when we meet, it's a good sensation. Listen.
At 13 years old, Tony DeFranco became one of the decade's purest teen idol sensations. The DeFranco family, 5 siblings from Port Colborne, Ontario, signed with 20th Century Records and arrived just as bubblegum pop was hungry for new faces. Matching outfits, bright harmonies, and carefully drilled television appearances made them look like the younger cousins of the Jackson 5, with a little more innocence and considerably less edge. Heartbeat It's a Love Beat entered the Billboard Hot 100 in July 1973 and peaked at #3 in September, eventually selling over 2 million copies. Their formula anticipated later youth marketing strategies used by Menudo and New Kids on the Block, even if the music stayed rooted in early 1970s bubblegum innocence. Their moment was brief and bright and completely of its time, which is exactly why it remains so vividly remembered.
It's a good sensation of heartbeat. It's a love beat.
Number 2. The Bay City Rollers.
Used to be true. I only wanna be with you.
Tartan cloth had no business becoming an international pop uniform, but the Bay City Rollers made it happen. Fronted in their peak years by Les McKeown, the Edinburgh group turned simple, irresistible choruses and coordinated plaid into a youth movement British newspapers dubbed Rollermania. Their records were light, direct, and built for kids who wanted instant participation rather than sophistication. Saturday Night reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on January 3, 1976. The spelling chant alone made the record unforgettable, and the image was just as powerful. Their formula anticipated later pop explosions from New Kids on the Block and One Direction. For a brief and spectacular stretch, the Bay City Rollers were the sound and look of pure childhood hysteria, and no era has quite replicated it since. Number 1. The Archies' Nothing.
Sugar, oh honey, honey.
Summed up bubblegum innocence better than a band that existed first in comic books and cartoons. The Archies were assembled by producer Don Kirshner, with studio singer Ron Dante, 24 years old at the time, providing the lead voice behind Archie Andrews. Backed by co-writer Jeff Barry, vocalist Tony Wine, and New York session players, the project turned animated television into a hit factory, just as Saturday morning culture became a national ritual. Sugar, Sugar reached #1 on the Billboard Hot 100 on September 20th, 1969, staying there for 4 weeks and selling more than 6 million copies worldwide. Reruns combined with endless oldies radio play made the group a permanent fixture of 1970s childhood. Jingle Jangle later reached #10 on the American charts, proving the concept was more than one lucky single. Their bright, perfectly calibrated style fed directly into later cartoon pop, and Sugar Sugar still sounds like cereal, comic books, and a Saturday morning living room, which for millions of kids is the warmest sound in the world.